Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. It's your boy Doc. It's 9:24 a.m., January 29th, 2024, right here outside of NYC. What we're doing today is a bit of a experimental or unorthodox way of doing it. This is all going to just be raw footage that I'm going to try and compile at the end, but I figured why not put it out there live just to make things a little more complicated and more of a challenge. Anyway, we were talking about small accounts, and this was the second client that said, I only have $500. What can I do with $500? I said, well, you could start with 350. And they both said, no, what can you do with 350? So here is $350 small account. I set up a cash account. I have 3 positions, small AVTX, small fund, just to keep it on the radar, and a Disney 101 call, which is pretty much of a lotto. But other than that, it's $350 available to trade with. And we're going to see the process where we're going. It's 5 minutes to open, so forgive me if I'm going to skip over the pleasantries or whatever. We're going to get right to it. So this is just the account that I'm going to use. And first, I'm going to slide over. This is the quant trading app. This is what I check every day. I'm going to go first to the quant chart. This is going to update when the market's open, but I want to make sure everything's in right. All right, we're in the 29th. And we're going to be looking at Tesla and NVIDIA today. And just to slide over, this is what I'm looking at on NVIDIA. The Fibonacci, I don't use this all the time, but I only use it when we have run-ups. I see this nice run-up on NVIDIA. Nice run-up is an understatement. This is amazing run-up from the 4th of January till today, hardly anything. I'm going to mark off the 50 line, the 50 fib right there. There's going to be the orange dotted line, so I can get rid of that. This is the golden zone I used in a lesson. We can kind of configure that. And let me get some of these lines out of here. So the phantom candle right here is what we're going to be looking for this trajectory to happen. If we don't see this downward move, NVIDIA could just go straight to 650. Could go to 700 in the first couple weeks of February. It's just that momentous. So don't be shocked either way. So we're going to cut down. I think it's up a little pre-market, but we want to wait for conviction. This is the whole point of the video. We're going to wait, right? We have a small account, so we have to wait for our perfect timing. And what we're really looking for are, gains like this from last week. Tesla, the 180 put 225%, 175 put 250%. This was taken a while ago. It was a really struggle. And the SPY didn't really work out, but that's okay because the Teslas really did. But that's what we're looking for. We're gonna wait. We're gonna, we're low on ammo. We're low on manpower, say, and we have the opposing army marching toward us. We're gonna wait and use our ammunition, for the perfect time. Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes, that kind of a thing. That's what we're doing here. I really hope my mic is on, by the way. Yeah, okay, my levels are good, and I'm not in your what you normally see. That will probably come later, but I really wanted to get this video started right before the bell. So we showed up a little late to the party. We're seeing something going down here, and as soon as the bell hits, we're gonna pull up the other tools and see. At first, let's get the SPY up. I want to see what the direction is. And if anyone pops into chat, I'm sorry if I'm not really monitoring it right now. This is just this was an unpromoted, unadvertised kind of a thing. This is just raw footage, but I figured why not get it live, because I act differently when I'm live. So I'll probably catch that. I'm a little more entertaining. Is that possible? Can Doc be any more entertaining? No, I'm slightly better when I know that someone's watching. So, oh, that sounded creepy. This pink line here, if you guys are wondering, that's the VWAP. If you're not wondering, good for you. We're ahead of the game. I'm going to be turning on this thing called volume profile on and off throughout the day. This is a sidebar. Volume is measured on the bottom here. It's usually on here. It is. Volume is measured on here by time. The volume profile measures volume by strike on the side, and it adjusts to to see what you're looking at. So we get the 15-minute. We'll see a volume gap right down here. And just, while we're out here, this is my vision on SPY. We're up in this. We're all up in this up channel. You're all up upon me. You're all up upon me. So we have an up channel, looking pretty good. We're in open air right now in SPY. Open air. So this is something you can't really predict where it's going to go. We can look at the indicators and suggest, okay, we see some movement downward on the MACD, but the movement up on the price action, that's a little divergence. See if the RSIs, yeah, the tops are moving down, the tops are moving up. It should, and they're off. So that's indicating of a downward move. Although, in a momentous move like this could just be a charging action, almost like an archer pulling back his bow or her bow. It charges, potential energy is building up for a release higher. So we want to make sure that this signal is telling us that this is divergence or it's recharging for a move higher because it's consolidating. The level stayed level. Again, unpracticed live. The level stayed. Allow myself to introduce myself. So we want to make sure that this is not a sign for higher, but this is actually bearish divergence down. So NVIDIA looks like it might be deciding there. And you'll see me flip between the 5 to 15 minute, and occasionally you'll see me on the 30-second, maybe even the 15. That is, it's not something to trade off of. I just look at it for a little bit of review. If we're looking up to a reversal, something like that, I'll pop down to the 15, 30 to see what's building there. So you'll see as we go as it goes on. But Tesla seems to be bouncing. We called for a bounce on Tesla. We had a few one-on-one lessons last night. I mentioned that this is what we're looking at in Tesla. Tesla came all the way down in this trend, and we called it right before the new year that this could happen to the bottom of the trend, and it did. We reached it on Friday. We got those nice gains on the puts, and now a bounce would be prudent. It would be a little prudent right here. It'd be expected and understood almost because this is a wild ride after the earnings, right? Down to this hard support, up to the 192 makes sense, leaving the availability to break below or bounce up to the higher channel. I'm trying to give like 18 different thoughts at once, so apologies, Creed. So the first 15 minutes of trading, you've heard this a lot, is observation time, right? It's the most volume of the day. The second most volume is probably the last 15 minutes or power hour, right? But a lot of volume changes hands in the first 15 minutes here. And once that changing hands back and forth, you could see a direction come into play. Unless the institutions, the banks are planning a move today. And so real quick, you'll have your range days, your trend days. And usually when you have a trend day, it's because the big banks or the big ETFs, whatever they are, they've decided they had a meeting. They said, you know what? We're not really, we think Tesla's, I don't like what do they make, muffins or something? They're not, we don't like them. We're going to slowly get out of that position. So you'll see when they decide, okay, we're going to sell 100,000 shares of Tesla, they don't just do it. They don't call their broker and be like, hey, Tom, how's it going? How's the kids? Why don't you sell 100,000 shares of Tesla? What? You want a pizza with nothing? So what they do is throughout the day, they sell them to get the best price. They don't want to crash the market because they still hold a position. So they don't want the rest of the position to go to garbage. So they'll dribble out sometimes over a day, sometimes even over the course of a week, depending on their strategy. So when you have them, a big bank or something, selling 100,000 shares, which is an ridiculous amount, I'm just making up a number, you'll see it over the course of a day. They're getting the best price they can, but still getting in the time they want. So if it's spread out over the course of a day, you'll see the trend just go down because there's so much selling pressure. There's so much a new flood on the market with shares. So you'll see a trend day, and that's where trend days kind of come from. Those are the days that we want to trade on 0DT. Those are the good ones. The high volume, the high volatility, and the high attention to a particular stock or an ETF for that matter. And when you see something moving, like say Apple and Tesla together, you can look at the SPY and say, okay, you want to like look at them together. Like you look at the SPY, you flip back to Apple, you flip back to Tesla, you flip back and forth through all these things, and then you can kind of determine, oh, we might have a trend day here because they move together. So Apple looks kind of good. This is the first time I'm looking at Apple. This is the Friday expiration. This looks like a pretty good move. We're in this volume gap here. This could come down here. This is interesting to me. Let's see if we push this out. This is just on a whim. I'm just going to, so 185 by next Friday seems like a doable thing. And then you know what? Let's go a little more conservative. Put it 187. No, 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 no. Let's not mess with the. Don't mess with perfection. Who said that in what movie? I don't know. It's something I think about his hair. But this looks like a pretty good move that can come down. So we're going to keep this in my mind. We're going to keep this in my mind. That's right. So we're going to quickly check quant on the Apple. So we come to the quant trading chart. There'll be a link in the description. That sounds so YouTube-ish. There's a link in the description. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Yeah, but it's true. It does help out, and it is amazing because the more viewers here, the better product you will get. So Apple, when we look at our quant chart, we see our levels here. This is the buy zone, the green. This is the sell zone, the red. The intradays are the gray bars. This is available to everyone on a subscription basis. I can't see it trading a day without it, and this is what I base all my trading on. This is confirmation for all my trading. So this big line here, this is what we're going to watch today. This is the 2-day VWAP. 2-day VWAP is just like your regular VWAP. I'm going to show the bottom of this. There you go. That's for you, Bryant. So we want to look at the 2-day VWAP because this incorporates, instead of the regular VWAP, which is the daily volume, this is 2 days. So we see the prior day right here, and you see how much it was kind of danced around and then came back, kind of touched it for a move down. Now we're opening way below it. This might not be in play unless if Apple gets a bullish move, if the bulls try to go one more time and we come up and we hit this confluent level, which is the top of the intraday and the 2-day VWAP, a bounce off that down, that would be like, the go flag. That would be the go flag for puts down to, what did we talk about? We said 187-ish. We were raising it up. Look at that. 187-ish comes out right below, right at the buy zone. So this is a target. Max pain is 190. So now I have a vision in my head. We have targets. We have target around 190 and another one around 188. So keeping that in mind, let's switch and check out the chart real quick. If I'm going too fast, I apologize, but it is what it is, baby. So it's kind of looking precarious, but it's holding, and we'll find out why. Okay, right here. So always look left, and you'll find your answers. It's like a little Indiana Jones type riddle. There are too many drawing lines. Weeble has told me I draw too much. Okay, you're not the first person to say I have too many lines, but thank you. Not now. So this is a line here. This is the line, the first line of contention, and looking left, this day that looked like a trend day right there, we were just discussing. It opened, dipped a little bit, and then just raced up. So this is, when we zoom out, that's going to be one bar. There's no support there. This could be a good drop down to 189. Look at that, 190 max pain. So we're just working with 2 points here. So we might have to cut that. I mean, we're looking 2 weeks out to the 185-ish. Let's say 190 by Friday. We're going to cut it real close. Pull up the bank. Oh, no, my balance is showing. But this is the 350 account, cash account. And Schwab is good because you can open up multiple accounts. Some of these are margin. I think one of these is futures and cash account, right? So cash account works differently than margin because you're allowed to trade the same stock but not the same money. On margin, you can trade the same money but not the same stock in the same day. This is all under 225K, by the way, under the PDT rule. So if you're working with under 25K or you're working on day trading, consider a cash account, especially under 25K, because you can use this. You can trade the same stock multiple times in a day, but just not the same money. So in other words, if we place the trade right now, let's just do this in our heads before we place our trade because we're getting to this. This is new. This is fresh. So I want to get a 190 Apple. Still hung up on this Disney move. I really want that to happen. I've wanted the 101. There's a gap on Disney. I'll show you from like 94 to 101 that I've been wanting to happen for a while. Just one of those things. So 190. Oh, that's calls. Like, why is it? There's just so many of them. So we would have to get the 190 on Apple to capture that move down to 188 because we want it to bypass. Oh gosh, sorry. I must have sounded like I hit you right in the ear. has to bypass our strike. That's the goal. We want it to bypass it. So if we got the 190, we bought it at say 266 right now. Keep that in mind. This is how you do it. You day trade in your head, see if you were right on that. So 266 on Apple. Someone write that down. 266 put on Apple. This is Friday, 190. And we will mark it right. Patience. Patience. And we're going to make it green. Anytime you see a green line, that's something having to do with where a money position is on one of my accounts. So it looks like we're about to break this line right here. Let's check on the quant. We're going to refresh this, and then we're going to pull up the GEX feed. The GEX feed. This I'm going to pull up in the Discord first. This is the Discord. Wait, first let's check the quant. All right, still no good. I mean, still all good. This is the quant trading app Discord. A lot of tools available. It's kind of, they're linked, the Discord and the site. So first, let's stick to the program. Stay on task, Doc. Stay on task. This is the Apple feed. Every 15 minutes, you get a update of the GEX feed. It's Tesla, the Russell 2K, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA every 15 minutes. And then when you get to the SPY, it's the SPY, SPX, the Qs, 0DTs, and also the SPY, SPX, Qs on the weeklies, and also a little sneak peek into next week. So we'll get to that in a second, but let's first stay on task. We're going to look at the most recent Apple. This should have been done first. So we have Confluence right here. Right here. This, you know what? I'm going to post this in a second. So I know this is not such a far away, but it's a 2-point move. This could really benefit someone. So this is what I do. This is going to do what it do, baby. I'll come here, and I'll come into Gold Chat. It's a little slow because I'm sharing my screen. It's not a server issue or anything. So I'll say good morning real quick. And I'll type correctly. I'm going to try and say unbiased, right? So here, there's the GEX chart, and then I'll pop up with the quant when I find it. I'm trying to work off of one screen. I was going to work off of two and then find a way to edit it later, but I'm not the editor type. Meaning I don't know how to do it. I think that's the easy way to say it. So, whoa, what's up there, voice crack? I felt like I was in 7th grade English class and got called up to the front of the room. I was like, hello, everybody. My name is Brian Dennison. So, I've now copied 2 screen shares using the GEX, and now it's going to be, you know what I like to get? I like to get that on the side. Let me set this up. I'll set this up right after I post this. Good morning, Apple, GEX, and the quant. So now I'm consolidating the information into 2 screenshots. So people can look at this and say, oh, we have Confluence here on Apple. That's interesting. And on the negative GEX. And we have a downward move in Apple. We have space. We have room. They can all see it in one kind of shot. So this is what I do all day to help out the rest of the traders in quant trading app. And also, where else can we do? So I'm going to leave this up here. And then I'm going to set this up so I can easily switch back and forth between charts on the same screen. If this is also a lesson, here we go. This is a separate video. If you're trading with one screen, don't say, I've heard somebody, I only have one monitor, I can't trade. There goes Apple. I only have one monitor, I can't trade like you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All you have to do is align them up like this. I have the Discord on the side. I have my quant. Let's do it like this. We'll drop this down. So let's drop down even more. We'll make this in the top. Nope, not that. I want to be able to see my, like this. You'll see when it's all done. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. All right. So now I have my tools up here, my quant tools. I can click on the lower right, pop up to my graph. I can have my total account value visible. If you don't like it visible, you can just hide the balance. But right now we're going to show the balance. Remember, we didn't get into that Apple trade, so everything that we see is not counting. Let's check on it. What was it? 190 was at 266. Now we're at 303. That's almost about 40 bucks. If you want to take that, if you took that trade, you want to take it, bank 40 bucks. You made 40 bucks in 15 minutes. That works. Or you can hang on to it. How do we know how to hang on to it? Well, here's our target, right? 190. We're expecting to come down to 190 and maybe even pass it. And we have that other target that we use the levels for. Let's say they said 187, 188, 190 for max pain. I'm going to use an average of all of them. This is just the way I trade it. You can do the levels exactly how they're printed. I like to do a line representing all of them, and then I can remember that, okay, from here down to here, we have some levels to work on. 190 something is max pain, but this is our target here. So if you were more risque or something more than me, you took that Apple trade, you are doing very well right now. So from 266, you're working on that 40 bucks. And let me see if this is a private message to me. Hang on a second. Nope, it's a gold announcement. I can't even do that. It's too early. The Charlton. Okay, good. We are good to go. Slide back. And now I'm going to pull up the SPY 0 DTE, and we'll get a check on the markets. Slide that over. So now I can see if there's any alerts to my attention in the Discord. And now I just click on it and we'll see no confluence on the SPY. The absolute GEX is right at the spot price and it's the highest GEX. So there's no trade to me that's alerted. And if we check on the Apple's doing very well in that trade. We'll check on the SPY. It should probably just be hovering. Yeah, still hovering, trying to make a decision. Tesla started to bounce and kind of slowly. NVIDIA, is it making that move down? No. It actually bounced off of our fake little candle. But remember, this is our ceiling. If this breaks and retests, we're going, I don't know, we can go to the moon. No, don't say that. Well, we can go higher. NVIDIA can always go higher. Apparently, there's just such a driving force behind it, such a momentum. It's getting really overextended, in my opinion, and it just simply has to be a pullback. I mean, there's been a ridiculous. I mean, if we shut this off real quick, from September 30th, 2022 to here, it was nothing. So that's almost a year of straightness, a break, a retest, and then from November till now, just straight fire. These are on the monthly candles, by the way. So I believe there has to be some type of relief. And if we just quickly glance at the indicators, you can kind of get the feeling that we're curling. But we don't want to go on feelings. We want to go on data, right? So obviously this is running a little hot, but it's been running hot for a while. You know, we crossed 70 a while ago. We passed crazy 10 exits ago. So it can still go higher. It can always go higher. It can always stay hot. And we're waiting for a signal for down. We're not jumping the gun. We're not estimating. If we were, that's a good one. If we were to say, I believe NVIDIA is going to go down, if we just wanted to get into it, what we could do is we can set an insanely tight stop. Now, ITS. So real quick, we're going to say, all right, NVIDIA could retrace, let's say down to 550 over the course of, 2 weeks? That would be the 16th, right? 2, 9, 16, right. So by the 16th, we'll say 550. What we could do, and I don't recommend you doing this. This is all for entertainment, by the way, and everything you see here is paper money, right? Right. So what we could do, or what you could do, is if you believe in that, but you're scared that you're not scared, but you're worried it's going to go the other way, we can get maybe 555 just to make it. All right, it's 557.50. You can get one or two of these, but when you do it, you set a well, you can buy it however you want, but then you can immediately start a sale on it, but you can set it for instance, on this Disney, we can close it, and when you close it, you get the option to do a stop. And you can set it by price. I think there's another way to do it. I can only do it on my phone. There's another way to do it on here. I have to find out. But there's another way on the phone to set a conditional order. And I know there's a way to do it on here, but I've never needed to do it. I've always been in front of the computer. I've learned about it last week when I was in Manhattan at the Empire State Building for meetings. And someone was like, "Oh my God, Doc, you've said Empire State Building like 3 times in chat." I'm like, you know what? If you had meetings all week at the Empire State Building, you'd be telling perfect strangers, right? But it was really cool. It was really enlightening, and I met some really good people. But what we're going to do here is we're going to watch NVIDIA take off the 700. Really, though, I mean, I would not be surprised if NVIDIA was at 700 by March 1st. We do have earnings, though, coming up. And don't take a soundbite of that. Doc says 700 for NVIDIA on March 1st. I wouldn't be surprised of it. I'd be shocked. No, I wouldn't be shocked. What is the term? I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be amazed. How about that? Meanwhile, our our first paper trade of the day, Apple, went from 266 to now. Nope, that's 2 weeks out, Doc. Hang on. Slow down. Bring in the champagne. 323. So what is that? 40, almost $80. So $80 in the first 21 minutes. If you got 2 or 3 contracts, that's 240, right? 240 on 3 contracts. Let's check. Let's go to the videotape. Bing. Yes, that's the daily. Okay, see, we bounced right off of, where's our lines? Pow! We reached our target. That green, we passed it. Once that passed the target, I would have sold right here. And if we were watching it the whole time, if I was doing this as a real professional video, we were watching it the whole time. This probably went up to 340. Actually, we can check. We can check on the options right here. Go like this. Go like that. Bing. 272. 272 is the highest, so say maybe 265. Give us a little, or 266. That would be the number. 266. That's a full dollar. So it's $100 per contract. You got 3 contracts. Congratulations. You just got $300. Am I right? Was it 166? Who wrote that down? Now it's time to check chat. Now would be a good time to see if anyone is assisting me, because I need all the assistance I can get. No one wrote it down. Excellent stuff. That's good. I kind of like it. This is raw footage. Raw footage. I really hope I compile this into a video. Otherwise, this will be for nothing. So, take that $300, pocket it. I would close up for the day. You almost doubled your account. If we had placed that trade, I would be done for the day. And that would only be half of the money, right? Well, no, 3 contracts. I probably got 2 contracts out of that. That would be $200. That would be $550, and I'd be done for the day. But that was not the move. That was not my confident move. If that was your confident move, congratulations. Tesla has made a decision, and let's see if it broke any previous ones. All right, so it's probably going to fill this gap. 182. So now a lot of people are like, "Oh, Doc, you missed the move. You missed the move down. What's going on?" We didn't miss anything. We didn't miss anything. We're waiting for our entry, right? You don't have to catch every move. You want to catch the perfect move. It's like surfing, right? You go out there and you sit there, you chat it up with some buddies out there, and you'll have a wave come by and you see it, other people catch it, and good for them. You're happy for them. You're not pissed off you missed a wave. You weren't feeling it. You want to wait for your wave. And when you wait for your wave, you get the really good one, and then you got good TikTok footage, or I don't know what they do with surfing videos now. My day, when we were out in the water, there was no one filming on the beach waiting for you to get a good wave. That's crazy. But now, apparently, there are. So, Tesla, were we going straight down to that level? It looked like it was possibly in that momentum, but we stopped. That was another reason a good reason that we didn't take that trade. We didn't research this. We didn't check our levels. We didn't check anything. We just saw the momentum. A lot of people would see the momentum, hit the button, and get into it. But right here, we're just waiting. We're just waiting. We're waiting for a commitment and a decision maker. What's a decision maker? A bounce off this level again. That's a decision maker. Or a break below this level and a retest. That's a decision maker. So let's go back in the Wayback Machine to that Thursday, that big drop after the day after earnings. It came down to this level. It broke it. It came back to retest it, and it failed the retest. So it broke, came back to retest, it failed it, and now we're above it. If it happens again, if it breaks below it and retests it, holds that, and goes lower, that's a signal for more down. If and how much further down, that's our next target, and I think 163, 163 is the next one. Why is that our next target? We'll have to look left. I think it's just because it looked like a slide down. It was all green. So that's way back to right here. Yep. See that? Nope, that's the wrong level. Sorry. See that? 1, 2, 3 days of just up, 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 up. Not really much to grab onto. Maybe right here, 173. So we'll make it 173. Why can't you get it right where I want it? Why can't you get it right where I want it? There we go. And we'll make it green. No, because I don't have money in it. Orange. Orange. Nothing rhymes with orange like porridge. And horrible. No. Terrible. Okay, new plan. Go live. Ta-da! What does this look like here? We're following the trend down, we dump, and now we're flagging out. Now this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Is this bullish divergence? We have a flat price action or a slow rising price action and a steep rising RSI. Is this bullish divergence, or is this an archer pulling back her bow for potential energy to explode into kinetic? What that means is the RSI was really cold. It's now warming up. The price action is not warming up that much. So, and if we shut this off, turn off the high beams, like, bam, this is the nice flag, right? We have the leg and the boot, or an upside down flag and a pole. We could be going down. We could be going down further. My prediction is, I want to leave predictions out of this, but I've wanted to play Tesla. I have like, I don't know, an affiliation with it or something. I just been, when you stare at something all day, every day, you kind of get in tune with it, right? And every stock, every ETF, every ticker has a personality. If you don't think that's true, you haven't been staring at charts and screen enough to find that. I'm not saying you're not worthy. I'm just saying you might have been having more fun elsewhere. But I think that Tesla at least will try this 180 again here. Nice flag action down to 180. And let's see what that looks like. It's probably just out of our price range. What I really wanted to do was stick to 0 DTE today, or at least 2 DTE on this small account, to try and build up a little momentum. That Apple trade would have been perfect, and we would have been done for the day, and I would have said, all right, see you tomorrow. The idea with this is to make 1 or 2 very good trades and stop. You don't want to think, oh, I'm going to trade today from 9:30 to 3:59 p.m. You don't want to do that. You want to wait for your perfect trade, get in, get out, and then fill your day with something else. So as comfortable as I'm getting here, I really want to execute something and wrap it up. So stay on task. Tesla, We want to see 180, which is kind of close. Let's push it. So I can see this 155. I don't know about by the end of the week though. Wait a second. Oh God, the line's already there. What am I doing? What am I thinking? What are you thinking, man? So these are the next couple weeks out. There's too many lines here. I don't know which one's to delete because I just drew 2. I can't see, Captain. I can't see the price action. You got too many lines. All right. Let's check 180. 250. Should we do it? We really should check all the other. See, I almost got into it. See, it's just my charting spidey sense is saying, okay, a drop is coming. Can we quickly pull up Tesla Gex? I'm sharing screen. It's glitching. Sorry. So I have the price here on the side because the way I set my desktop up. Okay, we have Confluence at 187.5. It's not necessarily meaning that the price is going to go to 187.5. It's just that the confluence is there. So this is data saying that more data says above than below, right? Again, more data says above than continuation below. High Gex, absolute, and max pain. Let's check on that price action. Okay, look. So you heard me out loud saying my spidey sense is tingling and my gut says to get into it. When we check the Gex, it says something completely different. So with that non-confluence between the traditional charting and the Gex, just pure the Gex, we didn't even check the quant chart yet. The Gex told me that up is easier. You saw me, I was just close to placing that trade, right? Right as I placed that trade, I would have said, oh my God, every time I place a trade, it goes the other way. Why does that always happen? This is why that always happens. Because we look at something and say, okay, this looks like more continuation of down. When we check in what I call the hidden data, the hidden market is telling us that, look, we have more pressure to the upside, more traction to the upside than the down. Not to say this is a 100% move going to happen, but, check yourself. Don't wreck yourself. That's a remix. So what's happening here? We held our ground. We held our ground, and we saved ourselves a bad trade. I would have cut out of this trade if we broke into this volume area right there. I would cut out, and that $250 would not have been able to trade for the rest of the day. That would have been banked for tomorrow and probably a loss at like 220. And then, in all honesty, I probably would have held on to see what it did at the VWAP. Now, we have the opportunity to see what it does at the VWAP with fresh money on our hands just because of taking one glance at that Gex right there. If there's anything to take away from this video, it was the last 5 minutes. In fact, mark it. What time? What is this? It doesn't tell me how long the video is. I've been recording. All right, it's 10:03. Jeez Louise. Old school. Mark it. 10:03 minus, say, 15 minutes. Tesla. Save. I need a vacation. I need an assistant, actually. I don't think that's an actual job offer, really. Maybe. So we're coming up to the VWAP and we're bouncing back off. Now we have an extra few seconds. We're gonna pull up the nope, wrong one. We're gonna pull up the quant level and check Tesla quant level. I'm gonna leave the other one on Apple because just for anyone who's still in that, we should check that. I think we kind of cleared that. Said you're out. You take your money. $300 is enough. See that? Checking the quant levels. We just touched max pain and kept it, and now we're using intraday as a support. If you don't understand, if you can't grasp charting, take a look at the quant trading chart. This will guide you. This sets the levels for you, and it gives you levels that you don't see on regular trading charts. I can plot levels on Apple and Tesla all day using prior price action, but I'll never be able to plot the GEX levels without looking at the options chain, and that takes forever. And what happened was, what had happened was we went up to the VWAP and bounced off. So now, if we were to wait and waited for that VWAP bounce and got into it, we are now taking another test here. But even though that's a good signal, it's not a great one. A bounce off the VWAP doesn't mean party town USA. Who did I just quote? Who sings that song? Is that even the name of the song? Party Town USA? It's a party in the USA. Yeah, right. I just lost 1,000 subscribers. I know it. Oh, we were checking Tesla. Stay on task. Sorry, my tea was extra strong today. And these are all the stocks, the tickers that are in the quant chart universe. There's plenty more that you can type in if you decide to use quant trading app. Plenty more you can type into the advanced GEX or the gamma exposure charts, and we'll give you all the GEX you need. And if you want to create your own chart, it gives you all the data for it on a random ticker, like GCT, GigaCloud, is something we're talking about in my my student group. So we have a break of the 2-day VWAP, a break below it now, so a break above. We started above it, actually, so it's an overnight break, and it didn't hold. Now we're testing the underside of it. If this holds, we can see 181, and then a break of that 181 and 180 right down to our 170 target. So we're on the 5-minute here. I always cut off the bottoms. I think that's just how it comes up on my screen. So a bounce on the south side of this can send us down. Let's go to the videotape. Let's see if the new GEX has come up. What is this? 10 o'clock. So another one's in like, that's too long. So to combat that, this is how to set up. We're going to do that in another video. I'll leave that. I'll do that right after we're done. We're going to go to Advanced GEX. We're here already. We're on Tesla. Perfect. We have that one set. I'm going to hit. So this one was pre-market. This is what it looked like pre-market. I'm going to generate my own report. And keep in mind, Advanced GEX, this channel is awesome on the QTA app, is that you can generate your own reports. Meaning, if I have a Tesla play out for August, I can select all the expirations up to August and see where everyone's attention is. So not too similar, not too dissimilar from pre-market. That 187.5 is the high GEX. It's still pulling toward that area. Really hard, too. The negative GEX is increased, though. Take note of that. This is now red, which means it's overall net negative. But it's not increasing enough to grasp it. And 187.5 is still an attraction. So I am now fully 90% on board to the bounce on Tesla to that 192 area. And this is the trajectory I had for it. It was a nice slow one, but it might bounce up there today, tomorrow, and then come back down, whatever. But a 192 touchback, or even like maybe 190 safely, that makes a lot of sense. Let's just plot out to see what that would look like. Because if it does go down, it bounces off that would be a nice entry. We want to get the full move, right? We don't want to just jump on the train as it's leaving the station. We want to get it as it comes back to it. 190. So right now it's 222. Good number to remember, 222. And 192.5 is 151. So we can get. So the trick is when you use an account, you want to use like 20% of what your bankroll is. When you're starting with a small account, you kind of have to break those rules a little bit and push it. And again, you see me waiting, right? We're already 38 minutes into it. We did one trade, but that wasn't, I didn't commit to that Apple trade. I want to wait for something a little better. And I might be quiet for a minute because sometimes when I talk, I distract myself. It's amazing, right? I talk so much that I distract myself. Doesn't that look nice? So this may be 186.54, the last resistance here. And checking the quant chart. Nothing there. This is Apple. I'm like, what the hell? That's probably going to happen 87 times, so get used to it. This updates. No, this one does not update, but you can just hit refresh. It doesn't auto update, but every time you look at it, just refresh it. And I kind of like it that way because it's not always blinking when you least expect it. Let me stretch that out. So we have a nice strong move here. We're still playing around with that 2-day VWAP. Once we get, so let's say a hypothetical situation. We want to break above it, maybe run into this max pain, and if it comes back, tests the 2-day VWAP again, and it holds, and we start seeing upward action again, that bounce would be a nice entry for me, at least. You can decide your entries on your own. Just know that I have really good success on a break and retest on the 2-day VWAP. I think this tool alone, if you start just trading using this, you can easily make, very high, what is it? A high success rate or high probability of returns using just those. What was I thinking again? So 190 Tesla. Let's see if it. So let's transfer that. Let's just make a mark. I'm using Webull. There's going to be another video I'm going to do how you can. Well, there's videos out there. You just look up Trading Lit. That's Bryant's videos, and he can show you how to place them in TradingView, how to import. I'll show you too, but you can easily import. It takes 5 seconds, so I'll throw it in there at the end. So we're having a move right here on Tesla, and we can see MACD is making a new lower low, though. We want it to make a new higher high, and we want it to make a new higher high here for conviction to 192. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh my God, you're not in it. You said that's what you wanted to do. Why aren't you doing it yet?" Because the market's always open. There's no rush. If you can get over the fear of missing out, you will be so much better of a trader and so much more relaxed. This isn't gambling on a horse race or football. It's not like $20 next play is a touchdown. Quick, get it in. Oh, the snap went. We didn't get it in. Even on that, there's going to be another play, but there's always going to be another play. If you're not fully convicted or if you're busy doing something else like a live video, you can always wait for the next play. So what we were doing, right, we got to stick to the plan. The plan was we want to see a nice break of the 2-day VWAP, a rise potentially up to this max pain, but then also we just marked off the 190. If we do rise, we should run into max pain because max pain is a magnet as well as a good support and resistance. So if you're below it, it's resistance. If you're above it, it's support. So this is a nice resistance. So we could play that move up to there if you're into that, 4-point move or something like that. But I want to hold out because I'm working with $377. No, that's not right. $350. Oh, that's because the Disney's in there. And did we get an update? Update in 2 minutes. But we checked the advanced GEX, right? So we're not waiting for an update. We'd just like to see if the update comes in. This is not really geared up for a super breakout to 192. We want to see a different configuration between the RSI and the price action. What we want to see is the divergence happening. So if this price were to come up, make a new higher high, and the RSI did not, that's bearish divergence. That would signal that this is not a good time to get in. Whether bearish divergence plays out or not, it's a signal and it's a data point to take into account. So we don't want to ignore those signals. We want to use them and wait for them. Just like how when looking at the charts, like, oh, I really think we're going to go down. We have this long selling pressure candle printing right after this big red one. That's a sign for down. We check the GEX and it says, no, 187.50. That's where the confluence is. So we're already saving money just by checking the GEX. Now we're going to see if we can plot out a good trade using it. And if you're tuning in and you're like, wait, it's 10:14 and he hasn't even traded anything yet, maybe this channel is not for you. I don't know what to tell you. This is the way it's worked for me. I wait for a good trade and I put my money on good things. I don't look at something and say, that looks pretty good. Let's throw a few $1,000s on that, see if it works. You know what? That didn't work. That's all right. I have tens of thousands of more dollars to play. I I'm different. I like to protect my money. I go by the PYC, protect your cap. Protect your capital at all times. We're in the stock market to save money, right? You don't get into the stock market to become a millionaire. You may become a millionaire after time. Time and money equals success in the stock market. Warren Buffett, what does he say? You know the line, right? Obviously better than me because I can't think of it right now. The stock market is the practice of transferring money from the inpatient to the patient. Something like that. But it's true. If you have the patience, you don't need a lot of capital. You just need patience. If you have a lot of capital, you can probably get away with a little less patience and really tight stop losses. But we are in the business of saving money, not Lamborghinis. You see those people that have Lamborghinis and all of those, and the people that join them that want to make a lot of money. They want to they don't want to make a lot of money. They want to spend a lot of money. There's the difference. There's the difference. They want to spend a lot of money. They don't want to make. I would like to build wealth. Build wealth gives you freedom. Wealth is not supposed to, it could. You can buy some shiny toys, but that's not the goal. The goal is not to have all the toys in the world. The goal is to have freedom. We're on this planet in a finite amount of time. We want to have the freedom to do what we want. I mean, I had the freedom to take off for 5 hours a day, 5 days last week. That's freedom. That's freedom. To go to a seminar, meet some people, look at some interesting ideas. NDA I signed. I can't talk about it. But there's the freedom right there. And then hang out after. Grab a bite to eat. Meet up with some friends, which I didn't do. Sad. But that's the idea of what we're doing here. Building wealth. We're not. You can buy Lamborghinis if you want. That's fine. But that's not the game plan. I'm watching Tesla like a hawk. I know. And this is where the lower time frames come in. So 1 minute, we could see a nice break and an attempted retest of the VWAP. I'm going to get rid of this volume profile. You're too close, man. You're too close. So keep in mind, you might look at this pink VWAP and it's at 185.10. It might be different on your chart because this Webull might be using different calculations. It might be using the last. Yours might be using the mid. So keep in mind the VWAP is not this finite line. It's this plus, say, 10 cents or 15 cents on either side. It changes depending on the stock. So we want to make sure that we're not treating this as a pinpoint line, even though it has worked perfectly on that line. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. And let's see how that works out with the 2-day. Let's get a little refresh, a little water on the face. I don't know how I'm going to edit all this. I might have to reach out for some help. All right, so we have a little bit of a break and a little bit of a retest. I was really hoping for a nice break and a nice retest, which still might come. And that's what we're waiting on. In the meantime, how's Apple doing? So this is the option chart. This is the strike that we chose. This is the chart for the option. You could play that too. It's just a little hard to wrap your head around. So this is the price action of the premium for the option that we took on paper. We ran up to 370. Now we came back and we're testing the VWAP. VWAPs can be applied to the options market. It's an options market. It's a market just like the stock market. It's just a different product. We're watching the price action of a product that's based on the stock price, that's based on fundamentals of a company plus sentiment plus, every other thing that is out there. I'm not going to get into it, but we're following price action of a product. Let's have a look on Disney. So Disney, I have 101 at some point. I have to check the expiration. But this is the gap, right? This is the gap that's been in existence for a long time. And we tried to get it once, it failed, and rejected all the way back down. Now we're trying once, and now we have this nice little handle. So a nice cup, nice handle, and this is the trajectory that I'm expecting up to the 101. We just got to get that little bit of volume in here. But this is good. We have this move, and we have this volume decreasing. Wow, it's really getting low. So once this volume comes back in, we should see a pop. I would love it if we got there before earnings because I don't know what what's his name's going to say on Disney's guidance. He's had some weird, not weird, but unorthodox guidance recently in outlooks. But we will see. We may have to blast. Tesla, Nvidia's up 1.29%. So we're going to be bouncing around here. We can shuck and jive away because we're not going to get in until there's a bounce anyway, right? So now it's free, giving us freedom to look at something else. Nvidia is reaching Friday's high zone. Looks like it might pop through it. A pop through that gets us to 625. You know what? Since we were talking about it so many times, I said Nvidia to 650. What would a 650 call look like? It's probably the premiums are like ridiculous. But you see how this move, we went from, oh, I can't even see the dates anymore. Anyway, this is 1 week. This is the second week. This is a week before. This is last week, that last week. So last week went from 592 to 630. That's a 40-point move. The week prior went up to 592 from 553. That's another 40-point move. The week before that, we went from 500 or 495 to 540, 45, 46-point move. That's 40 points in a week. If we were to say, trend is your friend until it's not, a 40-point move from here would bring us to 660. 650 would be good. Let's see what those, let's take a look. I mean, I can only talk about it so much before I even look at it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're just going to look at it and just take a look. It's a fun game. Just to see. Okay, premiums are way too hot for our current budget. So this is pie in the sky type of stuff. We can 333. It's easy number to remember. 333 for 650. Just put that in our head. If we had $10,000 account, I would do one lotto just because we were talking about it so much. It's scratching that itch. If we had $10,000 in this account, I would put a lotto on that. Lottos are supposed to be under $1, but when you're when you're working with something as long as this, that seems a lot more plausible than not, right? So even though I'm looking for this Nvidia move to the downside, I'm equally looking for a $350 lotto or $333 lotto up to the upside to the 650. But keep that in mind. $333 lotto, and what would that pay out? Right now it's down to 313, so we're down $20 on that. That would pay out. Oh my God, this is the calls. No, that is supposed to be calls. What am I doing? This is going to be a good editing. This is going to be a lot of fun. So 333 from 650. If we get kind of around the money into the middle of the week, probably around 900. Triple your money. That's not a lotto at all. Scratch that. That is the absolute least close thing to a lotto possible. A lotto would definitely be in the lower delta range. And let's get the deltas in here so we can show you. Right? This is where we are. The below 0.1 deltas. That's true lotto. What was the 550? I mean the 650. 17, 18. This is how, see the open interest of 12,000? This is how many other people are thinking the same thing we were, or I was. This is how not out of the extraordinary that move would be. Is that there's so much open interest at that level. Yeesh. So that's not a lotto. It's actually it's leading to not a lotto to a very probable bet, 650 by the end of the week, Nvidia. Crazy. So how's Apple? Before I'm not even going to look at the real chart, I'm just going to trade off the quant chart now for Apple and Tesla. I'll reload them both. So when I'm trading using quant, I'll have 4 or 5 quant charts open, at least tabs. So Apple is holding at that intraday low. All right, that's interesting. And this is a really nice reversal candle, right? Look at that wick. This is on the 15-minute. That is insane. That is telling us buying pressure to the upside. The only move I can see would be up to the 192. It's a 2-point move. I really want something stronger than that. And I don't, well, let's check the GEX. Does the GEX insinuate or suggest anything higher? We haven't checked the feed in a while, so let's see. So we have confluence here at the 190, but we have lots of increasing gex up to, wow, 200, and this is 185-ish, and this is the high call volume. So this, to me, that's a little bit of a confluence. This is the second high call volume and the highest gex. I'd be watching the absolute. I'd be watching the absolute gex to see if it shifts anywhere. I'm wondering if I should. I didn't plan on announcing this at all. I just wanted to broadcast the live footage because if I put this together in a video after, it's going to be better if I'm treating this as a live video because I'm talking more to the viewer than if I was just if I was just if there was a feed of me trading alone and not engaging the audience, you would have me committed. I talk as if I'm in an office with like 2 or 3 other people. I say, no, that's not going to work. Okay, we all have fun. Tesla's still hanging around this 2-day VWAP. We want to wait for a direction. So we're going to hang out on that. And what was the other one? Nvidia and Apple. We're focusing on SPY. Okay. Oh yeah, that little known ETF. You guys might have heard of it. Might gain some traction. I don't know if they're going to I don't know if they're going to use it as a barometer or anything, but it could be important someday. So the absolute gex is now at the spot price. We have higher gex at 490 increasing. This is a good thing about the feed too. Good thing about the feed is you can go back in time real quick. You don't have to go to another screen and look it up. You just cycle up and see where it was prior. So the blue is still blue. The absolute gex was still there. Not much changed. Not much changed since pre-market even. So this is some steady data, right? Now we can say that these aren't flukes. This is steady gex. If anything, they might have been increasing. Let's see the 945 levels. Right around 125. I'm looking at this number here. This is the gex levels, right? 125, I said, and now what are we at? Closer to 140. So these levels are rising. And are these ones? This is 60 here. I checked 945 last time. And this is 50. Yes, so the higher gex is rising. Let's focus now on the SPY. There goes Nvidia on the road to 650. Remember, 333 we got in. Yeah, man. That was a power outage. Isn't that fun? Anyway, update. I switched over to the Qs just to show you quick what I was looking at. There was some attraction to a little lower. That was a power outage. Isn't that fun? Oh no. Feedback. God, I'm just destroying this whole stream. Quick what I was looking at. There was some attraction. Oh no. Feedback. God, I'm just destroying this whole stream. So right here, 422, that's absolute gex. It's on the second highest strike. We have the confluence where we are and where we might be leaving, and I think we're going to gravitate a little lower to the 422. I think so. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. We're below the VWAP here, and this kind of transitions right to where I was talking about before we got cut off. The oval chart. It's like the quant chart, but it gives you a lot more information. We have call volume blocks, we have previous call volumes, volume range, along with the max pain and the absolute gex, which we all know. Absolute gex is one of the highest magnets there is. It's the one it's where the most oh my gosh, the most liquidity is. So that's the highest in my experience with it. That's the highest magnet there is, the absolute gex, and that shifts based on where liquidity is throughout the day. The volume range is almost like sentiment. The previous volume range is where the sentiment was the prior day. You can use them as bumpers, like in bumper bowling. You can expect it to touch 1 and touch 2. You can play it that way throughout the day. If it breaks, same way. If it breaks, retest for lower, or a rejection for higher. Same thing with most other levels. Right now, we're hovering around this confluent level right here, the max pain, the volume range, and the number one put volume. There is more confluence lower at 423. So I'm waiting for this bounce off the VWAP here, and I have my small 350 account ready to go, and I'm having two at the 423 strike, right? I think a minute ago it was at 57. So if we jumped in there, we jumped the gun, we would have held on and waiting for this VWAP. We wouldn't have sold because we have the VWAP right there. So if we have room for a mistake, let's wait for that mistake to happen before we get into it, right? You either want to wait for the break and then chase it, or wait to see if it holds. And if it holds, then we wait to see if this becomes resistance. I think I called this support 2 seconds ago, but you know what I mean. If we're looking down, this is support for our trajectory, I guess. I always have to pause before I say that word, trajectory. Today's word is glitch. So VIX looked like a glitch happened, and I checked a few different platforms. This is real. This is not a dream or a nightmare. We had a spike up and a lot of selling pressure keeping it down. So now people are kind of thinking, wait, which way is the VIX going? This is a bar, a graph. I mean, what do you call this? It's a rectangle. It's a very large rectangle that I drew some time ago as a support area. The VIX, every time it touches it, it wants to come back up. Right now, we dipped into it, and we're coming back up out of the water, and it looked like it wanted to pop there, but it got crushed back down right at that. I was going to call that support again, but right at that resistance. Nvidia. All right, please remember that when I said the 650 call, this was a dream scenario. This is not financial advice. None of this is financial advice, by the way. This is all entertainment, and we're paper trading, right? Just saying it's very, it's not out of the realm of possibility for 650 on Nvidia. It's not saying they should go get calls for 650. There's just a lot of open interest for it. And 650, that's something at 35 point away would be a lotto, but in this scenario, it's a possibility rather than just a pure lotto. So we're going to wait to see what happens on the Qs, and in fact, we'll pull up the Q weekly. I like to bounce back and forth to see how it matches up across the week. The week says 420 is a nice goal. This is the second highest GEX, with the highest GEX being even lower at 415. This is a nice pull down. This might get me thinking, why not go out? Why stick to 0 DTE? Why not go? Let's see what Wednesday looks like, and we'll expand the view on Qs. See, this is dangerous also because this is open air with the Qs. We popped up. There is a nice hold right here at 421. Let's steal one of these lines. We don't need to make more. We have plenty in storage. Why would we need more? So this is support now, 421. This is just using charting support. If we take a look at the oval chart, it says this is Qs, right? Yeah, 423 is their next support, and there's nothing until the put block down at 419. So now 423, did I say 422? I meant 423. Sorry, 423 now is an area of interest for me. If that breaks, there's no quant levels, there's no data for any type of support. So we switch to the GEX. When we look at the GEX, the weekly, we try and compare that and see where those levels might be. What did it say, 423? 423, not much interest. This is the weekly, by the way. 422, there's some GEX, but the real attraction is down to 420. This is the weekly. Now you need to zoom in there. And we go back to the DTE. Settle DTE. All right, this is an updated one, right? Yeah. So now, now it looks like the absolute GEX has jumped higher to 425, leaving behind these two. I call them, these are magnets in my mind. These are two, halfway to the high one. No more than, this is 30, this is 50. I wouldn't ignore these. Even though the absolute GEX jumped to 425, I would not ignore these two. This could be a nice pull down to 422, right? Yeah. Should I make it bigger so you can see it? Probably a good idea, Doc. So this is our main attraction, this 424 area. and that's right where we're hanging out. I wanted to move this like that so I can see the price there. Right, so we're still at that 373. We haven't even done anything yet, except that Apple call that was on paper. Worked out pretty good. And I think it's still working out pretty good. Let's check on it. Yep, 320. And what is Apple actually at? I think, yeah, Apple has a nice move down. I would say 185 is a possibility. We have to break this support here. This 190. Going back, I'm thinking back on the GEX. I think 190 was something. Anyway, something to consider. GCT took that rejection. For all of you following GCT, GigaCloud took that rejection off that spot. We're going to expect to see 18 on GCT and possibly some bouncing consolidation up until earnings. At least that's the consensus amongst the group. Small group. One-on-one stocks group. The cool kids. Just kidding. SPY, any action? No. Still really strong right where we are. No significant pull in any direction. So we wait. We sit on our hands. We wait for it. SPX, a lot of talk about 4,900 in the gold chat. Let's see how that looks. 4,900 still the absolute high, the absolute GEX and the high. There's a little strong move. There's a little strong attraction, I should say, down to 4,885. But I don't normally play the SPX. I have in the past. It just reminds me of I don't know, just a awkward position that I was in or working for. But trade it as you will. Nvidia still this. Look at all this 600. No, is that 600? No, that's 650. Okay, let's make it bigger. No, I strain the eyes. 650. Yep. Still, the highest GEX is at 650. Oh my goodness. Remember, you heard it here first. 333. $333 gives you a 650 strike. Apple. There we go. Still 190. Still confluence around 190. Lots of attraction to the high side, though. All the way up to 200. We'll see how this shifts. Because the charts just say mega room for down. Fun. I'm not even going to discuss that. That was just something to keep on the radar for our previous lesson. Disney is in the gap. Mind the gap, in the gap. But we still have this resistance here. I can take a line. Right there. 96.24. Expect that maybe to be resistance. If it does, this hopefully it holds. And let's even make it like right there. If 94.86 holds, looking like we could get this one-on-one gap done. That's a lotto I'm in. Let's just check the date for, oh God, this is Friday? I thought it was at least next week. I may have to shuck and jive that up. I wouldn't want to make that for next week. We'll worry about that later. We are trying to see if we can make a trade today. So the Qs, we were looking down, but we were waiting for more confirmation, more confluence. Hasn't come yet. We were tempted to go into here just because of the chart. Oh my God, we're breaking. The GEX said not yet, so we held back, and now we're flying up to the VWAP. Now we're testing on the north side. And to remind us, the updated GEX on the Qs, the 0 DTE Qs show different information than the weekly. So locally, there has a shot for 425, which is right above where we are now. That's not a trade we'll be interested in. However, there's some GEX building to the downside. And just a reminder, when we look at the weekly, there is big attraction down to 420. That's a 4-point move. 4-point move over a week, and then more attraction, even higher GEX down to 415. If it starts to move towards this absolute GEX confluence, sorry, I make it bigger. I don't know why I discuss it when I have the opportunity to make it bigger. If this starts to move towards this area of confluence, this data may change, right? This may be getting larger, like 419, 418. Or if this does not get larger, in the positive GEX, the higher strikes get, larger. I was going to think of a synonym for larger. But anyway, if that gets higher, this can act like a support and a bounce. You can have a bounce at 420, and then you would use that bounce as a move towards something higher. I mean, this says 430 as the highest positive confluence. Not to say that it's going to go there, but that it's a pull in that direction. This is a high pull. That's a high pull. This is a high pull. So it's strong attraction down and really good attraction up. We're right in the middle, and we have to wait until the cues decide which way they're going to go. Right now, look at that. That's perfect. That's a perfect price action to what we just witnessed on the GEX. A straight line. No idea which way to go. Waiting for a decision to be made. That's how the cookie crumbles. What's that from? A Jim Carrey movie? And that's how the cookie crumbles. That's a sign off. No one? Bueller. Tesla. Okay, Tesla's made that move. Oh, that 187, where are we? Dang, power outage. Right, so we went to 187. We reached max pain. We had a hiccup, and we're going to update it, and we're going to see it fly up to that 190 now. Bam, just like that. Look at that. Broke the VWAP, 2-day VWAP, tested it. We even got a second, even a third test about, on it, and then see you later. 194, if this breaks, 194 is a possibility, and Tesla can move. The bounce on Tesla has commenced. This was the trajectory. I was going to give it all week, but it looks like we're going to hit that right today. So in hindsight, you can say, oh, man, we were right. That bounce is happening, and it's happening in one day. Or we can say, that's okay. We were right on something. Then outside catalysts came in and affected our day, one being a power outage. But, hey, life happens. And I have a great quote that I picked up over the last week. It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And that's really how I live my life. I mean, you could spend all day complaining and whining and crying about a power outage, but your first step, you light a candle and things start looking better. Then you find a flashlight and you got more light. Simple. So now we are approaching a much larger situation on Tesla. This break of 192, you could see a move to 208, right? We're about to get into this gap right here. Let's see what the exact number is for that gap. And we can't see it here. We can see it if we go like this, though. 192.80. Let's make that official. All right, 184. 192.84. So in 2 points from now, if we break this, we're in a nice little gap move up to 207. And I can guarantee you that the GEX is going to be changing, just like the times are changing. We're going to see some reaction in the GEX. I guess not yet, though. We still have a major confluence around the 187.5, but as this moves higher, we should see some effect here. Some people are going to say, oh, that's enough move. We're not going to go through the gap. This will increase. If we do start going through the gap, this will increase. Not to say the negative GEX will not increase, because volatility will. So we'll see how that plays out. We're not going to speculate too much here, but that's what the data is for. So just for kicks and giggles, what was our move going to be? Was it 190? What's the put? $190 is now $453, $455. I forgot what it was. Or was it $192.50 we were looking at? I'm not sure when it got cut out either. I was talking for a while. I looked down, it says connection lost, and all of a sudden lights went out. I was like, golly. Golly. All right. So what we say, that gap went up to? It's an extreme move, but Tesla's an extreme player. So just under 208. So just for speculation, a nice maybe 200. That's probably going to be high because it's a psychological number. 107. 107 now, 108. I could see that move. I could see that happening by Friday. I don't know. People might see this as a buying opportunity for Tesla. I do. I saw this coming down, reach the bottom of the trend. I mean, why not? Why not this? Why not that? Right? Why not? Or at least the 207. This layer right here, lady, what? This zone right here. What is that? 230. That's the next one. Is there 230 this one? No, there is no. It's right. It's February. You joker. So the 1st of March. This is this Friday. This is 2 Fridays from now, right? 1, 2, no, 3. This is the 3rd Friday from now. This is much more Fridays from now. So compartmentalize, right? This could break here and just fly up and then do a Tesla move. So let's see. Let's play that lotto. 205 for next week. If it's cheap, we'll take it. We're trying to build an account here. 151. Nah. 150. That is more than a third of what we're working with. So, I don't know. Is this just taking a relief bounce? Because the beginning of a gap could be resistance. Just as when you're in a gap, it acts like a vacuum and it wants to get sucked to the other side. The beginning of it acts as support and resistance to enter the gap. All right, so we have that on our radar. We had Tesla on our radar earlier. See now, we're getting to the top of we're getting to the gap. This still is the goal for the day. That would have been a nice trade. It was probably cheap enough that I could have just took it on a whim, but the data wasn't there. We want solid plays. Solid plays. Where's a solid play, huh? Is that 425 yet on the cues? I want to know what the cues are going to do at that level right there. Because of this absolute gex is right at 425. And it's also lining up with our chart, 425. Interesting. I really want to know who's going to edit all this. I can't see me doing it. Someone brought this to my attention, the TSLL. I don't really particularly like trading the directions. I mean, I don't think the liquidity is there. I mean, Tesla has such high liquidity as it is. The only thing I could see is because it is cheaper, the premiums are cheaper. So maybe we should be focusing on this. Maybe this is going to open up some new doors for me. Maybe this is the one to suggest for smaller accounts. So right here, see that? Touch, resistance, pop, and then fly back down. We're coming up to it again. What was it? 953? Yeah, 953, 957, and we just hit 952. So this might be proving to be resistance. Come back down, use the VWAP possibly, if not 886. How's the VIX looking? Steady as she goes, Kaplan. SPY, is that being steady too? Yeah, look at that. Just sailing out. The interesting thing is that you look at this, it's like, oh, it's just trading sideways. There's no action going on, but it's really completing a trend. If this continues to trade sideways, just hypothetically, I know it probably won't, it will reach the bottom of a trend, and that would be a play to get to the top of the trend. I hope I extended this line and not moved it. Good enough, right? We go out and further in time, finally hit the bottom of the trend and go up. This is some good bullish divergence right here. RSI values are rising, and the price action is not rising in the same fashion that is. It's rising a little bit, but it's not as extreme as this. Let's check on the GEX. $488, still the highest confluence, and these two are nice attractions here. So if we do reach 488, we could spill over into the 490 club. Now that would make sense with the RSI being bullish, as we just noted. And let's see if that fits the top of our trend. 490.86. That works. I'm trying to use this trajectory here. Again, the word of the day is trajectory. I'm just going to draw a random one and see if that fits. See that? How that lines up? All nice. This is a little too extreme. This line is a little conservative. I'm just going to go with the last one here just to give it an eyeball. I'm going to make this a little darker so it doesn't really affect our view there. But we know it's there. I know that you know it's there. But not everyone does. I still haven't changed into my work outfit, I guess you'd call it. Suit and tie. Let's see. I will. Usually when I do one-on-ones, I'll get because it's only proper. If you sign up for a class at Harvard and you attend the class and the guy comes up in the sweatsuit and you're like, why did I bother even getting out of my pajamas today if the other guy's not? But also, I like to trade in low lighting, so that's why it looks like a dark room. I wanted to become a photographer. This is a true story. I wanted to become a photographer simply because I thought it'd be cool to work in a dark room. Think about all the movies growing up, right? Or at least when I was growing up. All crazy stuff happened in the dark room, right? But I digress. So the SPY is just really kind of going sideways here. No action yet. Even though we have this inkling that we can, once we get to 488, we can go higher, it's still just a thought. It's not something to act on yet. And speaking of acting on, we did miss the boat on that move to Tesla. We had it planned out. We saw it, everything, but we wanted to be absolutely sure because we're working with a small account today. So it's okay to miss. See, a number one complaint I have is like I always miss the trades and I get in too late. First of all, you should never get in late. It's not you don't have to get into anything, So you don't. It's not like, oh, I always get in too late. Just don't get in. Just don't get in. Wait your turn. So speaking of waiting our turn, Tesla has run into that 190. Let's pull it up on that quant chart here. Where is it? I know I have it up. There. The intraday high has proven to be a little bit of a hiccup. If it's back testing it, it's like retesting it. Did it break it? Now it's retesting it. That kind of a thing playing out. So it's hovering around it. This could use it as a launching pad to that 194, to the sell zone, and that would actually meet up with our GEX, which was there interest up there? No, not really. So it's gonna. I don't see much draw in the GEX arena to draw us higher, but this is why it's a feed. It's a feed because it constantly changes. So every 15 minutes we get fresh data. If you want immediate data, you can use the advanced GEX that we did earlier. NVIDIA is still strong to the upside. Crazy, right? What's it doing? 615. All right, Qs. I want you to want me. So we have rising RSI, lowering price action. Now we have finally rising price action to meet the rising RSI. Now we have a flattening top or even a lowering top on the RSI as the price action is moving up. This is bearish divergence building right before our eyes. Price action, if this continues to 425 as we're expecting, and this could see a nice reversal down on the Qs. The chart, right? Okay. Rejection, so we have a play back down. Now, if we do this play back down, the first thing we're going to run into is the VWAP right here. So you could, in fact, this is a perfect scaling in opportunity. I wouldn't suggest getting in a trade for anything lower because this VWAP is right here. But if we have this plan that this VWAP isn't going to be such an issue, we can get in here at, say, 20% of our trade. And as we get to the VWAP, if it holds and bounces around and starts to drag throughout the day, we can just cut it, and we have a small profit on that 20%. If it breaks and goes down, we have 20% of our position on discount. Does that make sense? Scaling in. What time? Time. 11:40. I don't know how to check 11:40 on the video. I'll figure it out. I'll use the time at the bottom of my, right here. So scaling in would be just doing that, getting it at 20%, waiting for a talking and entertain or forever give information and data, when in reality, there's a lot of pause, reflection, and self-discussion when it comes to placing trades. This is a nice reversal structure right here. We have a spike, a second attempt that didn't make it, and a third attempt that didn't make it, and now we're starting to breach this level. If we have this down, we could see a retrace coming back down here. We're not going to play this to the downside, simply because we don't have the capital, the manpower to play a two or even a 3-point move on Tesla. But it's good to watch because you get the feel of the ticker. And especially something with Tesla, if that begins to sell off, you could see fellow big stocks do the same, just in theory. NVIDIA is still hovering 615. What was that? Qs. What am I doing? The Qs. Still not to our target of 425. I'm kind of more and more convinced on this move. We're going to wait to 425. If this holds, I mean, if this does not break, if this holds as resistance, I'm going to start getting a position to the downside. How far out? Okay. Hey, Google, what's the temperature? One Google has internet, the other one does not. So that's usually, okay, now my computer's back up. Oh, God. Excellent. You got to love it. This is like super failure. Unbelievable. It's funny. It really is funny. But we press on. All right. We're coming up to 425 in the queues. I will be thinking. Oh, I got to open my. Holy moly, man. Get it together. Every time the internet cuts out, my bank platform just decides to completely quit. All right, we're coming up to that 425, right? We're going to wait and see. We're going to wait to see what it does here. Because this is just this. I'm only using this line from the most local one. The real resistance could be like right around here. That makes a little more sense. Right? I'm just looking back. Support here. Resistance. No, I'm sorry. Support. Broke it. And then resistance. So 425.35. That's our new target. Get back to, make sure you just pull up the cash account. Oh, is my showing my other account numbers? Is that bad? Probably. The reason why I renamed this one was so I didn't have to display my account number, and I'm showing all of them. All right, so I leave it here. I set it up just real quick. If you're using one screen, I cascade them this way. So I have the discords here on the left, and I'll have this overall edge. So if I have 3 or 4, 5 things going on, I can just quickly look at that. So no matter what's open, that's always visible. The Discord's open, that's always visible. Even if the Weeble's open, that's always visible. The Discord's always visible. And I keep the tops here, so I can quickly go to that. See what I'm saying? I should make it just a 60-second video on that. This is all raw. Raw. Monday Night Raw. All right, this would be a good time for a commercial break. I'm going to get more tea and maybe some airplane cookies. You guys know what I mean by airplane cookies, right? Airplane cookies. It's that. I'm not even going to say it out loud. You guys know what it is. All 0 of you. I love it. Again, if you're watching this somehow, this is the raw footage for a video that I'm going to be attempting to edit at the end of the day. But I decided to do this live only because I act different when it's live rather than just making a video by myself. All by myself. Always looking. I was thinking of you. So, now on the big chart. Oh, I'm looking at a big chart and the other one. Let me slide that over for everyone to see. I had it out in the 4-hour. We could see this is some type of resistance here, right? We attempted to get it, try to test it, fail. Now we're on the south side, and we're testing the top side of it. If this fails, this is open, this whole area. 131. I want to make it February 1st. Yes. Then we have this like little shoulder, a head, and a little shoulder pattern here, bringing us down. Similar to Vietnam. Now we all grown up and all heavy on the Couch Patrol. Try to get the rally gear ready. Try to bag me and get rock steady. So similar to here, we have a little shoulder on NVIDIA, a pop and a head, and maybe another little shoulder action to bring it down. Almost like this, right? Doesn't that fit nicely in there? Bing, 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 right? So we'll see if that works out, but that we'll keep off. Doesn't that look creepy? Like, how you doing? We'll keep that down there. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. So, this trajectory is still in play, right? We haven't committed to the downside yet, but this is that's still live to me. So the 209, 555 to 209, that's still in play. I haven't placed that trade yet because now, today, we're working with a smaller account of 350. Haven't placed a trade yet, but we're going to be right up here, and I'm going to be right back. What? Wait. What did you just say?
Seems like a long time to talk to yourself.
Yes. Now you're on. Yes, I'm gonna be talking to myself.
All right, I'll catch you later.
I'll put you. Yeah. Okay. Good, man. Later. Later. That see, I have real friends. No. So yeah, we're coming up to 425. Hang on a second. I'm gonna get on the phone with Optimum, and I'm gonna ruin someone's day. I'm gonna tell them that too. I'm gonna say, listen, I'm gonna ruin your day today. You know why? Because you ruined mine. I'll do that live. That's what we should do. You want to contact Optimum live? There's the video. Oof. So we're at the 425, and we're getting resistance. My goodness. Talk about wrath. On the inside right now, but cool and calm on the outside. I was thinking about wearing contacts today too. Dang. That's better. I want to frame my shot. And of course, Weeble shuts down for some reason. Every time the internet gets disrupted, Weeble decides to shut off, like it's protecting itself from something. I don't know. Someone's going to ask if I have a VPN up. I do have VPN, but it's not on. That was a good potential question by someone. All right, so let's focus, right? We got to get back to business. Better to light a candle than curse the darkness, right? So we'll set up our one monitor trading, and I'll clone this to have it on the other screen. And then we're back in trading like a green machine. Later, not now. No way, not now. We're not installing updates. It's amazing. It's amazing. The sheer luck that I do not possess. Forget it. End it. I'm ending the stream. I have still on record, right? All right.